When Boruto first started, I was always interested in the character. Here you have the son of Naruto and Hinata, a kid with amazing genes, a prodigy as expected, the son of the 7th Hokage and grandson of the 4th Hokage, and the eventual student to Sasuke Uchiha. Of course, this kid is just gonna be awesome and cool, right? Well, that's not how it started exactly, and like everyone else, I needed a little bit of time to adjust to the character and needed to see more. I would say it's not until we got to the Owl arc that I was like, I think I'm starting to kind of like this kid. And ever since then, he's grown on me more and more all the way until now in the present, and I can definitely say he's one of, if not my favorite character in the entire franchise. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about why I love Boruto Uzumaki. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a second and ask you guys watching that if you liked the video, leave a like, comment on some video ideas I can cover in the future, and subscribe and post notifications on so you don't miss when I upload another video. So of course, you can't talk about Boruto without talking about his bratty ways within the early parts of the story, more specifically within the first arc. Boruto at the start is a brat. He even says this himself as the future Boruto narrating his past in chapter 1. Boruto's bratty ways mainly come from him and his father's broken relationship and the lack of attention he gets from his father due to Naruto being the Hokage. Naruto admittedly taking his job too seriously and being too caught up with it, tends to abandon his family for the sake of treating everyone else in the village like family and protecting it as a Hokage should. However, what a parent shouldn't do is not show their children much attention, and this is exactly how Boruto feels about Naruto and where Naruto goes wrong in their relationship. Boruto is a brat because he doesn't understand Naruto's position as Hokage and never tried to, while Naruto is being a bad parent because he's not trying to understand Boruto and puts his job over his children and family. A lot of people definitely didn't like this side of Boruto, especially since we grew up watching Naruto and feel for him as a character. Whereas with Boruto, this is our first introduction of the character, so I can understand how it would rub people the wrong way and not come off as relatable. But Boruto still has a lot of growing to do to become the shinobi he is today, and has to go through the trials and tribulations of being a ninja to understand Naruto's position and the responsibility he has as Hokage. This all starts with Momoshiki, and Momoshiki can be looked at as Boruto's adopted personality of being a cheater and power hungry taking physical form. Momoshiki is an alien parasite that looks at himself as a god and better than everyone else, and is literally in his clan's way of life to absorb life on planets to evolve and in turn gain more power. Momoshiki's abilities even center around the fact that he doesn't have to work hard in battle and never really does things that he doesn't have to. He absorbs jutsu and chakra and can make pills that he can eat to just gain more power, and also the jutsu he absorbs he can throw back at his opponents even more powerful than they were when being chucked at him. This scares Boruto not only because of what Momoshiki is and how powerful he is, but he sees what he's doing with the scientific ninja tools and what Momoshiki does are similar, and he realizes that's not the route he wants to go down. We even see this when Momoshiki is explaining how his chakra pills work, and he says that with these pills, one can effortlessly and easily acquire true power. And when Momoshiki says this, Boruto looks at his arm and can see the similarities in Momoshiki's pills and the scientific ninja tools. Naruto gets taken away, and of course, you don't realize what you had until it's gone, and Boruto in this situation realized that he was wrong about his dad and was wrong about his position as Hokage. Boruto witnessed how easily Naruto would put his life on the line for the village, and through experience realizes how important it is to be Hokage. Naruto, also realizing his wrongs in how he treated Boruto, apologizes to his son when Boruto goes to save Naruto in Momoshiki's dimension. But Boruto, showing growth and understanding, tells Naruto that it's okay and that when he has time to tell him about his past instead of lecturing him. Boruto wants to be taught those lessons from Naruto and doesn't want to know about just his weaknesses, like how he said in chapter 2, and once Boruto and Naruto comes back to the village, they finally complete their bond with their fist bump that shows their connection and that they finally understand each other. Something they weren't able to do before due to the scientific ninja tool and the obvious cracks in their relationship. And we then learn that Boruto's dream is to be a shinobi like Sasuke, one that has his own free will and supports the Hokage from the shadows. Except Boruto doesn't realize yet that in order to be a shinobi like Sasuke, you have to be able to understand Sasuke's life, which is no easy task for someone like Boruto that barely knows hardships. Boruto doesn't understand that Sasuke is the shinobi he is today because of all the things he went through and all that he lost. He needs to understand the reason Sasuke is in the shadows to begin with. Afterwards, Boruto just continues to show his maturity and how he's grown since he actually became a ninja. In the Mujina Bandit arc, he meets a boy named TenTo who is a lot like Boruto in the sense that he has problems with getting attention from his father and is also spoiled with money, so TenTo was never taught to work hard for what you want and just spends his money to get his way all the time. When TenTo offers Boruto an extremely rare card for a card game that Boruto always wanted in exchange to be taught ninjutsu, Boruto remembers how he went about getting cheats on his game so that he didn't have to work as hard as his friends like Shigadai had to, so this time, Boruto agrees to teaching TenTo ninjutsu, but declines the card and says that he's the type that gets what he wants with his own strength, no matter how hard it is, showing his growth from back then. And through Boruto's growth is only when TenTo started to grow as well, and by the end of the arc, TenTo was able to grow up and understand the hard work and guts it takes to achieve your goals, and TenTo tells his father that he's going to keep working hard so he can become an adult worthy of his father's support. In the OW arc, Boruto has to deal with the concept of tools, specifically the scientific ninja tools, and Boruto has to learn that these scientific ninja tools aren't inherently bad, but it all depends on how it's being used. Y'all have no idea how hard that sentence was to pronounce with this accent. At first, in the beginning of the arc, Boruto doesn't like the idea of scientific ninja tools, so much so that it comes off as hate and resentment towards them. Boruto feels as if hard work and guts is what makes a shinobi, and he's not wrong, not even in the slightest. However, what he needs to learn is being a ninja and working hard versus using a scientific ninja tool isn't mutually exclusive, and they can coexist, but it all depends on the user. Through seeing how scientific ninja tools can help others with things as serious as giving them limbs that were missing through fighting Ao, Boruto learns what scientific ninja tools were made for and uses them alongside his ninja abilities to beat Ao and teach him a lesson. These are just some examples of Boruto's growing maturity throughout the series and some of the things that Boruto has to go through that pushes him to endure and be a better shinobi. We even see by the time of the Code arc that Boruto is ready to die on command if it's for the sake of his village and his family. Boruto is even rewarded in a sense for his sacrifice and bravery that he ended up stopping Momoshiki's full arrival while almost letting himself get killed. Fast forward to the Omnipotence arc and Boruto's maturity is at an all-time high. Kawaki ended up taking everything away from him, his family, friends, and just his livelihood in general, and their lives were switched. Kawaki even frames Boruto for being the killer of his own parents and causes Boruto to go rogue, not by choice but by force. And when Boruto is asked about how he feels, he says he's crushed inside but he can't stop thinking about Kawaki. He says the insecurity and loneliness he's feeling is what Kawaki had been feeling his entire life since he was just a kid. Boruto thought he knew Kawaki, but looking back, it was probably driving him crazy that although Boruto never knew hardship, he acted like he understood Kawaki, which I think is a callback to Naruto and Sasuke, and for one to understand pain, they must go through the same or similar pain, and Boruto before Omnipotence can't understand Kawaki because he didn't go through the loneliness that Kawaki went through. With a little motivation from Sasuke and some kind words from Ada, Boruto flexes his lineage and will of fire to Momoshiki, blames himself for being too weak and says he won't let this end as brother killing brother, and he will turn him and Kawaki's fight into a mere quarrel between siblings, doing what his dad would do, facing the unknown and unthinkable loudly and proudly while claiming his name is Boruto Uzumaki. Looking at who Boruto is in Blue Vortex is a bit of a mystery since we're only 6 chapters in, and Boruto seems to have changed a lot. He's a lot more sarcastic, has more of an edge to him now, and is extremely powerful. In short, Boruto is just extremely cool right now and has been through a lot in just 3 years. Boruto is a lot more focused and cold-hearted as well, which is understandable given what has happened to him over the course of part 1 and the 3-year time skip. Boruto has had to deal with him not being able to live his life how he's used to and had to adapt to circumstances that he has no control over, while also having a lot of responsibility and a lot of guilt at the same time. Over the 3-year time skip, the first year was spent training with Sasuke and honing his skills until one day him and Sasuke were attacked by Code and his claw grimes. Sasuke, being the teacher he is, sacrificed himself so Boruto can get away, and in his last words to Boruto, entrusted his daughter Sarada to Boruto and believes that there's something going on that only Boruto and Sarada can deal with. We do know that somewhere along the way that Boruto met Kashin Koji and they are now on the same team and are working together. However, everyone Boruto has had a relationship with is no longer with him, and I would imagine that this made Boruto feel alone. Boruto in part 1 is more likely to let his enemy see the next day and can be like his father Naruto in that sense, which you see in the OW arc. But since coming back from the time skip, we've seen a more cold Boruto that has no problems killing his enemies if they're in his way or as long as he has good reason, which we see in how he dealt with Code. Even when Boruto first returns to Konoha after 3 years and sees Sarada, he doesn't even look her in the face and just tells her to stay alive and that they'll talk later. This could be an example of Kishimoto showing a more focused Boruto, as Boruto does seem to be on a mission to take down the TenTos as quickly as possible, but there's also a chance that this is showing the guilt that Boruto has deep down of what happened to Sasuke, and as a result couldn't bring himself to look Sarada in the face. This can be supported with the last chapter in TVV, chapter 6, where Boruto is shown blaming himself for what happened to Sasuke and even straight up says it's his fault that Sasuke was taken down. Keep in mind that Boruto is still a child, he's only 15 and he has the responsibility to get back everything that was his in the beginning. His family, his friends, his livelihood, all of it, while having the fate of the world right on his shoulders, as well as the new Shinju threat that just emerged. Now he's a shinobi like Sasuke, someone who had everyone and everything taken away from him and forced into the shadows because that's the only place he belongs. We love Boruto because he continues to show us that when push comes to shove and the pressure is being put on him, Boruto will always come out to be a diamond in the end. He won't crumble and he won't fail, he will continue to push through and endure because that's what it means to be a ninja, and Boruto embodies this concept like no one else. He is truly the definition of a shinobi.